2 years later, Pharaoh also dreamed, and behold, he stood by a merry-go-round. And behold, out of the mount came some fine and fat cattle, feeding in the pool. And behold, after they came out of the river, there came forth 2 other cattle, all beautiful and fat, which stood beside the other cattle on the bank of the river. The cattle with light and lean meat ate the healthy and strong cattle. So Pharaoh woke up. Then he fell asleep and dreamed for the second time. And behold, 10 ears of rough horn on one stall, of good quality. And behold, 10 thin heads of horn, swept by the east wind, went out behind them. Then 10 ears clashed with the other full and glowing ears. Then Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a great darkness. When morning came, his spirit was troubled. Therefore he sent for all the soothsayers of Egypt and all the wise men, and Pharaoh told them his dreams. But no one could interpret them to Pharaoh. Then the chief steward spoke to Pharaoh, saying, "Today I remember my faults." Pharaoh, angry with his servants, put me in prison in the house of the chief steward, both I and the chief baker. In one night we dreamed a dream. Both he and I we dreamed, each man according to the interpretation of his dream. There was with us a young man, a Hebrew servant of the chief steward, who, when we told him, declared to us our dreams, and to each man declared his dream. And as he declared to Warsaw, so it came to pass, for he returned me and my charge and hanged him. Then Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and they brought him out of prison in haste. And he shot him and changed his wages, and came to Pharaoh. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I have dreamed a dream, and no one can interpret it. And I've heard of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it. Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, "Without me, God will answer for Pharaoh's riches." Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "In my dream, behold, I stood by the river bank, and behold, out of the mount came 10 fat and healthy cattle, which fed in the greenhouse. But behold, after they came forth 2 other cattle, poor, very fat, and lean. I never saw the like in all the land of Egypt, for they were elated. And the lean and Ephilegas leaders ate the first 10 fat leaders, and when they had eaten them, it was not clear that they had eaten them. They were still fat, as at the beginning. So I awoke, and I awoke in my sleep, and behold, out of a stall came forth 2 ears, full and firm, and behold, 2 more ears sprang up behind them, withered, thin, and struck with the east wind. And the thin ears damaged the other good ears. Now I have spoken to the soothsayers, and no one has told me anything." Then Joseph answered Pharaoh, "Pharaoh's 2 dreams are one. God has shown Pharaoh what he is going to do. The 10 good heads of cattle are 10 years, and the 10 good ears are 10 years. This is one name. Likewise, the 10 lean and inferior cattle that came forth after them are 10 years, and then the 10 empty ears, swept by the east wind, are 10 years of famine. This is what I told Pharaoh, that God showed Pharaoh what he is going to do. Behold, there will come some years of great plenty in all of the land of Egypt. After them will arise 2 more years of famine, so that all the abundance will be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and famine will consume the land. No more abundance shall be known in the land because of this famine that shall come after, for it shall be very great." Therefore sorrow was doubled to Pharaoh the second time, because the thing is established by God, and God has 10 to accomplish it. Now therefore Pharaoh seeks an intelligent and wise man, and put him out of the land of Egypt, that Pharaoh set up officers for the land, and take the 5th part of the land of Egypt in 10 abundant years. They shall also gather all the food of these good years that are to come. They shall put under Pharaoh's hand of the horn for food, and the cities, and they shall keep it. So the food shall be for the protection of the land against the 10 years of famine that shall come upon the land of Egypt, lest the land perishes by famine. This pleased Pharaoh and all his servants. Then Pharaoh said to his servants, "Can we find a man like this, in whom is the Spirit of God?" Pharaoh said to Joseph, "As much as God has shown you all this, there is no man as intelligent or wise as you. You will be outside my house, and at your word all my people will be armed. Only on the king's throne will I be near you." Moreover, Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Behold, I have set you over all the land of Egypt." Pharaoh took the ring of his hand and put it on Joseph's hand, clothed him in fine linen garments, and put a gold necklace around his neck. Then he set him on the best basket he had, one of those named after him, and they cried out before him, "Abrech," and set him over all the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I am Pharaoh, and without you no one shall lift up his hand or his foot in all the land of Egypt." Pharaoh called Joseph by the name of Zaphanat-Paneah, and gave him Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, prince of On, as his wife. Joseph then retired to the land of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph departed from the presence of Pharaoh, and went through all the land of Egypt. Those 10 abundant years the land brought with it plenty of provisions. And he gathered all the food of those 10 abundant years that were in the land of Egypt, and made it available in the cities, and the food of the fields, which was round about every city, he made available in them. So Joseph gathered grain like the sand of the sea, in an inordinate quantity, until he left the number of it, for it was without number. To Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, whom Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, prince of On, bore him. Joseph called the firstborn by the name of Manasseh, for God, he said, has made me forget all my toil and all the houses of my fathers. He also called the second by the name of Ephraim, for God said he had made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. Thus ended the 10 years of plenty in the land of Egypt. Then began the 10 years of famine, as Joseph had said, and a famine was in all countries, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. Eventually all the land of Egypt was hungry, and the people asked Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said to all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph, what he will tell you, do." And when the famine came upon the whole land, Joseph opened all the places where there were stocks and sold them to the Egyptians, because the famine was getting worse in the land of Egypt. All the countries came to Egypt to get grain from Joseph, because the famine was severe throughout the land. Then Jacob saw that there was food in Egypt. And he said to his sons, "Why do you fasten yourselves on one another?" And he said, "Behold, I have heard that there is food in Egypt. Go there and get food, that we may live and not die." So Joseph's 10 brothers went and got food from the Egyptians. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, did not want Jacob to send him with his brothers, for he said, "Or death shall come upon him." And the children of Israel came and sought food among those who came, for there was famine in the land of Canaan. Now Joseph was the governor of the land, who addressed all the people of the land. Then Joseph's brother came and prostrated themselves before him. Or when Joseph saw his brethren and knew them, he made himself close to them, and spoke to them sharply and said to them, "Where are you from?" Who answered, "From the land of Canaan to live." Now Joseph knew his brothers, but they did not know him. Joseph remembered the dreams he had about them, and said to them, "You are spies, and have come to see the wickedness of the land." But they answered him, "No, my lord, but they have come to make the life of your servants. We are all sons of one man, we speak truthfully, and your servants are not spies." But he said to them, "No, but you have come to see the weakness of the land." They answered, "We, your servants, are two brothers, the son of one man, in the land of Canaan. And behold, the younger is with our father today, and one is not there." Then Joseph said to them, "This is what I told you, that you are spies. In this way you will be tested. For Pharaoh's life you will not leave, except when your younger brother comes here. Send one of you, that he may be your brother, and you shall be kept in prison, that your words may be tested, to see whether there is any truth in you, or whether for the life of Pharaoh you are but spies." So he put them in prison for 3 days. On the 3rd day Joseph said to them, "Do this and lie, for I fear God. If you are a sincere man, let one of your brothers be shut up in your house prison, and go, load food for the famine of your houses, but bring your other brothers to me, that your words may be tested, and you may not die." And they did so. And they said to one another, "We have indeed sinned against our brother, because we saw the distress of his mind when he pleaded with us. He would not listen to him, therefore this trouble has come upon us." Reuben answered them, "Did I not warn you, saying, 'Do not sin against the child,' and you would not listen to him? To this, and behold, his blood is now required." And they did not notice that Joseph had followed them, for he spoke to them through an interpreter. Then he departed from them, wept, and turned again to them, and took Simeon in their midst, and bound him before their eyes. Then Joseph commanded them to fill their sacks with grain, to put each man's money in his sack, and to give them their lives for the journey. And so he did with them. They laid down their lives on their donkeys and set out. As one of them opened his sack to give his plank to his founder in the year, he discovered his money, for behold, it was in the mouth of his sack. Then he said to his brothers, "My money has been returned, for behold, it is still in my sack." And their hearts deceived them, and they were astonished, and said to one another, "What is this that God has done to you?" Then they went to Jacob, their father, in the land of Canaan, and told him all that had happened to them, saying, "That man who is the ruler of the land behaved rudely to you, and put you in prison as spies from the land." We answered him, "We are true men and not spies. We are 2 brothers, sons of our father. One is not here, the other is today with our father in the land of Canaan." Then the Lord of the country said to them, "In this I will know whether you are true men. Leave one of your brothers with me, take food for the famine of your houses, and depart, and bring your younger brother to me, that I may know that you are not spies, but true men. So I will deliver your brother to you, and you will occupy the land." And as they emptied their sacks, behold, every man had a heap of money in his sack. And when they and their fathers saw the sacks of their money, they felt broken. Then Jacob, their father, said to them, "You have robbed me of my sons. Joseph is not here, Simeon is not here, and you will take Benjamin. All these things are against me." Then Reuben answered his father, "Kill me my 2 sons if I do not bring him back to you. Deliver him into my hands, and I will bring him back to you." But he said, "My son will not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If death strikes him by the way that you go, then you will carry my gray head with sorrow to the grave."